Drizzly. I am one of the co-founders of a company called Drizzly. We started about a year ago here in Boston. I love the name of this talk, Whiskey Business. I didn't even come up with that. Phenomenal though. So here we go. Drizzly, so we're an alcohol delivery company, alcohol delivered. So your question's probably like, how, what, right? That was ours too. Like when I first got the text from my buddy saying, hey, why can't I order beer? I was like, because that's insane and illegal and there's no way, right? So, legal, no way. So in order to do it, we had to start a second business just for ID verification. So we were like, okay, two businesses. These guys are bootstrapping. How the heck are you going to make money when the margins are so tight in the alcohol industry? What's your roadmap to success? Like, what are you exactly trying to do? So we're going to get to all these things. But pretty much the focus of this talk is sort of about how we push through all of these ridiculous sort of red tape situations that exist in this industry. And for us, it all comes down to why, right? So sort of the generic why, and this is what we're going to talk about a little bit today. So why sort of does really give you the power to do anything. Like if you identify really what matters to you and what you're starting a business for, forget the whole like, oh, we're delivering alcohol, like, the why for us isn't let's get everybody as drunk as we possibly can, right? Like that's not the goal. There's a deeper why to it, and we'll sort of get to that at the end. But that's kind of the root of this thing. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but this is the golden circle. So I heard this talk about probably a year ago actually, and it kind of defines really what we were starting to do. So there's this thing that's called the golden circle. It kind of identifies what goes into a company. So we're going to just start here. So that top sort of ring is the what. Okay, so we're going to use an example. We're going to use Uber as an example, okay? Uber, what are they? They are a transportation aggregator, if you will. A transportation aggregator, okay. How are they doing it? They're using mobile technology. They're finding where you are. They're sourcing your order, if you will, out to local partners in their area, and then they are taking you to where you need to go. But more importantly, Uber, why? Like, why are they doing this? Why are they trying to just completely destroy the transportation industry, right? Is that the goal, destroy the transportation industry? It could be any number of things, right? And I don't know if you guys know Travis Kalanick, that's who started this company. Go watch some interviews by him, and I think you'll really start to sort of see what his why is. He never really explicitly says it, but that's kind of the beauty of it, right? Is you can see it in people who are extremely passionate and create phenomenal products, that there's something much deeper there than sort of what they're doing. And Travis is a great example of that, so, at Uber. So that's what that golden circle is. All right, so who the hell is this guy? Who am I, real quick? So we'll get into who I am, then some Drizzly, and then back into that golden circle thing. Okay, so hopefully you guys can sort of relate to some of this stuff. All right, freshman year, that's me. I made a BC game. I was a huge BC fan. Sort of got involved with the athletics department at BC. Was also involved in the campus entertainment department, so like through the concerts and stuff. That's me as a dorky little freshman, and there's Will Ferrell, cool. Club tennis, so I started the club tennis team my freshman year at BC. There I am killing 140 pounds and like 6 feet tall freshman year, so that was good. Club tennis. Okay, so this is like senior year. We had Kid Cudi as our concert, and that was cool. Started this thing at BC called Ice Jam, where we split our court into half court, half ice, and did like a pep rally for both hockey and basketball at the same time. It was awesome. And what was even more awesome is that Vanilla Ice came and was our entertainment for the evening. So there he is. Cool. So I was doing these things with the school. I was like throwing all our concerts, all our shows, all our pep rallies, and I was like, I'm making university money. This is stupid. I want to try to do it on my own. So I started a company called Liquid Sound. I don't know if you guys know Chris Webby, but this is our first show. Kind of funny and embarrassing, but we actually did Time Flies' first ever concert. So I don't know if you guys know Time Flies, but we did their first show, which was pretty cool. So there, I was graduating, yay. So when I graduated, my first job out of school was working for this company called NP Concepts. I was sort of head of their marketing department. And I guess part of my responsibilities in that was being this guy in the ball on top of the crowd, and I was dressed as a Yeti, so that's me. I guess that's what the head of marketing for this small company needed to do. That's what I was doing. That's David Ghetto, which is pretty cool. So Yeah, and I'm that guy in the episode. Alright, so where did Drizzly begin? So, in college, pretty much every school has a booze cruise during their senior week, right? And BC didn't. And myself and my buddy weren't okay with that. We were like, I need a booze cruise when I graduate college. So, we started one. So my senior year, we started the Booze Cruise and Crawl, which is a 3-hour cruise around Boston, and then bar crawl afterwards. It was awesome. In the second year, my current partner at Drizzly hit me up out of the blue. He's like, hey, I want to do this booze cruise. I was like, okay. We did it. It was on like 2 a.m. one night when we were working on this last May, so May of 2012, where he just sent me a text and he was like, I want some beer right now. And I was like, you can't get beer right now. It's 2 a.m. Like, you can't even get it delivered. Like, no way. He's like, wait, beer delivery? Like, is that possible? I was like, no, that's insane. There's no way that's possible. It's crazy. It's got to be illegal. So that's kind of where it started, right? So did our research, found out a few things that we'll go into very shortly. And basically that alcohol delivery across the country is a completely illegal thing. It's that not illegal, a legal thing. It's just that nobody really figured out all of the pieces necessary to make it work. So we were kind of set on doing that. So you guys know where we are right now. Like, I consider myself to be that deer, right? Like, we're pre-funding, like, we've bootstrapped to this point. Like, you know, we're getting there and our numbers are awesome, but, you know, we're like in the crosshairs of every regulatory like agency sort of in Massachusetts, which is a fun, exciting, and scary place to be. So literally every single day, that's essentially what I look like. Cool. So this is our team. That's our CEO, Nick, on the right, my partner, the guy who sent me the text the first day. And this is our, God, he's looking so suave here. Our engineer, designer, and I'm the idiot in the middle. Okay. Circle of Drizzly. So we're going to go through the what, how, and why here, right? So that's kind of what this whole thing is about. So what are we? Alcohol delivery via your phone, right? So you pull out your phone, download the app. If you're over 21, you create an account. You say where you are, select whatever beer, wine, and liquor you want. It's going to be delivered to you in 30 to 60 minutes. How? So this is where it starts to get interesting, okay? So I'm like that kid all the time. Like, how are we going to do this? Oh my God, I have no idea. The first thing we had to get over was ID verification. How are we going to verify IDs? So we actually called a company called Advanced ID Detection. This was sort of our first like big hurdle last year. So these guys have this like super crazy PC-based ID verification system, right? It's in Connor Larkin's. I don't know if you guys have been there before, but that system, when you go in the door, that like you can't put a fake ID through that thing. So I didn't know what this system was. It was also in one of our bars. I called this company. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, and how can I get access to what you're doing on my iPhone? And they were like, kid, that's crazy. And I was like, just let us come talk to you. So myself, my partner, and our CTO went in there, so developed this app with them, which is essentially a way for you to verify IDs with your iPhone. So we've now got like so you know scanners, right? We have a scanner using just the camera on the iPhone, which is actually its own product, sort of aside from Drizzly. That's in like law enforcement, lots of universities are using it, etc. So that's kind of how we're doing ID verification. This company called Tips is sort of giant national company. They're using it, which is awesome. So there's that. So the fulfillment, right? We're like, crap, like, are we gonna hire delivery drivers? Like, how this started is we're gonna be called Keg Me. We're gonna buy a giant warehouse downtown, stuff it with kegs, and like me and Nick, we're gonna go deliver these kegs to people. Like, that's how we thought this was gonna happen. In our first conversation with the lawyer, he's like, guys, that's like insane. Like, first of all, do people really want kegs that much? Like, the margins on kegs, actually, like if you buy a keg from Blanchard's, they make about $5 on that keg. So the margins are awful, like not something you want to actually be delivering. So we sort of came full circle. This is about the time that Uber was like getting really big in Boston. I was like, dude, like we don't need to do the deliveries. Like, let's just send them to liquor stores. Wow, right? And that's how we kind of like figured out the fulfillment aspect. So, so we're now in 10 stores in Boston. We're in a few in New York City. We'll talk about that in a second. These are some of our stores. So what happens is when you place an order, it gets sent to that local liquor store, and that liquor store delivers it to you, right? So they have like their own iPhone. You're tracking them as they're coming to you. It's pretty cool. Little beer tracker. All right. Revenue. So margins in this industry are super, super, super tight, right? Like they are so slim. an average alcohol sale, the liquor store is making about 25%, right? So really, really small. So that kind of poses an issue for when you're delivering things, right? Because you now have this cost of, okay, like I'm sending a delivery driver out. I may lose him for an hour. You know, I'm paying that guy $10 an hour plus his gas to get out there, and I'm only really making 25% on that sale. So if you're only buying $30 worth, right, they're not making very much. But we were super adamant about keeping the delivery minimum low, okay? So how are we gonna make money? And eventually, actually, it was one of our friends that was like, yo, like I'm getting 8 million, like Shock Top. Like that's gonna help me buy Shock Top. Like what? And they're paying for that, right? Like Maker's Mark, same thing. Heineken, same thing. Launching a new product in the alcohol industry is insanely difficult. Like I don't know if you guys saw the ads for shoot, what was that Bud, like Black Crown or something, right? It was awful too. Their sales tanked, like it was just miserable, and they lost so much money on it. It's because at the end of the day, in the alcohol industry, the only way they can advertise to you is via like TV ads, and even these internet ads aren't actually leading to sales, and they can't track if they are, right? Whereas via our app, brands are paying us to present ads to you, and we're only charging them if they actually buy that product, right? So we're only charging them for every single new user, customer that they're actually acquiring. So the cost per user just goes down, it's about half from what they're used to paying, and sort of, even this is considered a traditional, you know, way to advertise right now. So, revenue. Cool, God, how awesome is that kid? Okay, legal. So, you know, the fourth how is like, how are you guys continuing to stay legal? So it's a whole combination of things, you know, one of which is what we're doing with ID verification, the other of which is the fact that the sale, I'm gonna give you guys like the full book, by the way. Like we don't like really broadcast this stuff because it's kind of what makes us work, but so we give the full sale of alcohol to the store. So like we don't touch it. It's not like it goes to Drizzly and then we send it out, which is like what happens with Foodler. So that's key. And the stores themselves are doing the delivery, right, which is also key. So it's their infrastructure, their people. Yeah. Okay, and so this is kind of cool, and actually nobody knows this really except like the 10 of us that are sort of involved with this thing. So here in Boston, we just sort of started, right? We were like, okay, we're going to launch this thing and hope that we don't get arrested, right? And we know we're doing everything completely legally, so we have nothing to worry about. Like, we're ready for that sort of investigation to happen. I actually got a call about it today, so we'll see what happens with that. I'm excited. We're ready for it because we know everything we're doing is perfectly fine. But in New York City, something happened where this wine shipping company was buying wine from around the country, storing it in a warehouse in New York, and then like shipping it back out places without a liquor license, right? So that's kind of what's happening in the internet alcohol space, is all this super illegal activity where people that don't actually have liquor licenses are reselling alcohol. And that's awful, right? Super bad. So basically, New York just put a giant moratorium on every single internet sale of alcohol in New York. They were like, no more of this. We don't know what's going on. Like, there's these giant warehouses storing wine that like, we're not taxing them. Like, what's going on here? So, what we're doing in New York, September 24th, so that's like Tuesday, is we're going in front of the New York SLA, which is their liquor authority, and giving them a full presentation as to what Drizzly is, and they're going to make a ruling as to whether or not we can operate. So we've already had 2 like preliminary phone calls, both of which went awesome. They were like, this is crazy that like these guys are 59 years old and don't even understand like how a computer works really, so to get them to understand what's going on is really, really difficult. So that's why they're like, come talk to us like face to face. So we're doing that September 24th, and basically, I mean, if they approve us, we're sort of off and running in like a really big way, right? Getting the blessing of the state to do like legal online alcohol delivery is crazy, and hopefully come September 24th, we'll be those people. So it's gonna take like 2 months for that ruling to come down, and then we're off and running in New York City. So we're already, we're not live there, but we got a couple stores kind of with the system, just testing it out. So that's, I guess, the last part of the how. So then, okay, cool, but like all of that crap to deliver booze to people, like what are you doing? Okay, the why, right? Like the why. So here's kind of the, I don't know what these slides, okay, well, I focus on legality. Why am I staying in on Friday nights when all of my friends who like are working real jobs and have all this money are like going out and partying, and I'm not ever staying in, I'm always at liquor stores like watching drivers go out the door, making sure they're not, I don't know, crashing. Why did we never why am I, so I'm like 98% on selling liquor stores, right? And it's because literally I'll go in there and I won't leave until like they say yes. Like I've been said no to by one store and dude's gonna say yes eventually. So what's the why? Is it like to destroy an industry? Is it to provide for my family? Is it to make an ex-girlfriend jealous? Which if that's your why, like power to you, man. You know what I mean? Like that, if that's like what you're really striving for, I'm all for it. Save Clydesdale's like stupid advertising campaigns and alcohol, like is that what it's for? Is to change the world? I don't know. At the end of the day, I guess what I'm trying to get to is that it doesn't really matter, right? Like I'm not gonna tell you what my why is. I think you can kind of tell that there is one there, right? And if you can't, I'm doing whatever I'm doing incorrectly. But there's a giant why as to why I'm operating. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is it doesn't matter. It's that why that's going to push you over all of these hurdles and really make whatever you're working on completely succeed. And when people tell you no, you're going to look at them and be like, seriously, dude? Like, you kidding me? Like, no way. Like, you're not going to tell me no, because you can tell that there's this, like, fire. Something is going on inside that is pushing you over the edge and you know, going to sort of bring you to where you need to go. So if you find it, if you live it, everything else will fall into place. The why forces you to start in on your business. The why helps you find those resources. The why inspires your team and creates your culture. The why builds your product. And at the end of the day, the why finds your customers and keeps them coming back. So find your why and the rest will follow. That's it. Thanks, guys. So questions? Cool. Yeah, man.
What about when you get there, like you deliver it?
Yeah.
And then like the person isn't of age. You know what I mean? Like,
So there's a $20 convenient population asked that question too. There is a $20 non-refundable restocking fee. So like if you're not 21, you're gonna get charged $20 and they go home. What's up? Yeah. Do we have a patent? Yeah.
Shit. How do you deal with hours of operation? For example, your 2 a.m. guy wanted beer. Can't do that.
He's not gonna eat. Yeah. So it's whenever the liquor store is open itself, right? So like we can't even mandate that. Like we can't tell a liquor store no, you have to be open until 11 p.m. if they close at 10. Like it's whenever the liquor store closes, the hours close for that store. So how it works, by the way, is like we have stores that own areas, right? So our stores own certain zip codes. So if you're in that zip code and going to place an order, you're going to see their inventory and like when they close, if that makes sense. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't do a good job explaining that. Yeah. What's up?
What if I have a really nice liquor that I like, but it's at the one just next door? Can I select them as well, or do I have to go?
Where are you from?
Australia.
Okay. I saw you brought in Sydney. Oh shit! I didn't put that picture up there.
It's okay. And don't worry, my beer's not in Australia, so you don't have to.
No, yeah, that's good. Okay, so what was your question? If you want something that's in like the store next to it,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? In the current system, shit out of luck. Hopefully, eventually, you'll be able to pick that. But like we only work with stores that have like really good selection. So there's very few cases where that does happen. But if it does, send me an email, and if you're over 21, which I hope you are, then I'll hook you up.
Don't worry, I'm brewing my own as well. So.
There you go. Cool. We actually work with like some local breweries and distribute them across sort of the city, right? Because this is a whole other problem. But
Like the Fridays.
yeah, essentially, yeah.
So is there only 3 of you guys working in the company right now, or there are other employees as well?
Yeah, no, there's a few more. So yeah, there's a few more. A couple guys working like strictly on commission. There's another like part-time engineer. But it's largely like the 3 of us like super full-time. We got like a marketing guy, kind of like interns and stuff. But yeah, if anybody's like kick ass at something, send me an email. I'll get cards out. You guys can like send me an email if you're interested in helping us out, because we're definitely looking for help for sure. Yep.
Maybe I missed this, but I'm wondering how it works. Like, is there a delivery fee that I pay on top of what it normally be?
Yeah, good
I
question.
assume so.
See, I didn't go into like the super nitty gritty of what this is, because like you know, that stuff's kind of boring. Questions are what we want. Okay, so yes, there's a $5 delivery fee here, but like in New York City, there won't be a $5 delivery fee. And that $5 is still going to the liquor store to cover their costs. So, and we give out like free delivery promo codes all the time. So like if you follow us on Twitter or Facebook or something, we're always like, free deliveries. So, okay. What's up?
How does it work with international IDs?
So it's a great question, man. Well, no, because it's tricky because we could like go source every single international ID and like put it on this guide, but it just becomes so insane. So it's up to the liquor store, like it's not up to us, right? So at the end of the day, all of this stuff, like Drizzly has zero liability. Like if something were to happen, it's all on the liquor store completing that sale. In theory, in contracts and in theory, like whether or not if that actually happens, hopefully we'll never have to find out. But okay, so to answer your question, it's on the liquor store solely. Like if they decide to take an international ID, great. If not, sorry. So. Yep.
So,
Yeah, I'll come to you in a second.
so obviously, like you have a great business with Drizzly, but when you look at like Foodler or Seamless or Grubhub,
Yep.
I haven't been there in about 2 months. But when I was, and this sounds like it might have changed, but when I was in New York, a lot of them offer liquor delivery. Is as much of your value in Drizzly or in the patent you have on the ID verification?
Stuff. So it's in Drizzly. So in New York, there's a couple competitors, right? Like Seamless and Grubhub definitely aren't competitors in this space yet. The merger sort of we'll see, but no, the value of this thing is absolutely Drizzly. Like we're gonna take this thing to the freaking moon. Like I can tell you right now, every competitor-ish, like even Foodler, to an extent, is operating a little bit illegally, right? Like none of them are operating completely illegally, which is why they can't raise a lot of money and go blow out marketing, right? Because they're not operating completely illegally. Whereas we're like, listen, states, regulators, like come talk to us, we'll show you everything we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing in New York, right? So, yeah, does that answer your question? So the patents have no value to it. Like, I was like just full like disclosure on company and like how companies work. Like, I hated the fact that we were getting a patent on this stuff. I was like, dude, it costs money, right? Like they deferred them, thankfully, but like still, when you go to raise money, they're gonna be like, hey, we need that, you know, giant check that you owe us for that patent. And at the end of the day, like, there's far too many patents on what we were patenting that it's not going to end up being that valuable. Sorry, that was way too long-winded. But no, the value of the company is 100% Drizzly. Patents are just kind of there, as far as I'm concerned. What's up, man? Did you have...
I think we're out of time,
sorry.
but if you can stick around and answer any questions if you have time.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. I'll be over here with, like, business cards and stuff, so you guys can be great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And make some jar, guys.